This is John Cole with discountjuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you. In this episode we're going to do a juice off, and this is going to be a fun juice off for me. I don't often do juice offs like this. Basically, I had a company contact me, say, we want you to make a video of our juicer. And I said, great. I'll be glad to make a video comparing your juicer to a different juicer that we offer at discountjuicers.com. And so I'm doing it in this episode, share with you guys the whole truth, nothing but the truth, and my personal opinions on each of the juicers. I have been selling juicers online since 1998 and have over 600 videos where I compare this juicer to that juicer. I don't normally compare the low-end juicers that are made in China. There are a few reasons for that. I'll put a link down below. Won't really discuss why in this video. About buying a juicer from China on Amazon. That's actually where you can purchase this juicer. I will put a link down below if you want to get this juicer known as the AceZoe Slow Juicer. The reason why I decided to make this video is because this is actually a new and innovative design I have not seen before, and it claims that it makes up to 95% yield, which I personally find hard to believe. You know, one of the most efficient ways to juice is in like the cold press juicer, or even using a vacuum blender and a press bag. And even with that method on celery, for example, I get it like maximum like 90% yield. So I don't know how they could make a claim up to 95% yield. I mean, maybe if you're juicing watermelon, maybe that's kind of true. I'm not sure. But anyways, I always want you guys to be wary of things that you read, because sellers can put anything they want in advertising, and that's why I make my videos, to basically tell you guys the truth, cuts the BS, and I don't care. Maybe this guy's gonna win, and then they'll sell out instead of this guy. But I'm not really sure. I kind of have an idea what's gonna happen, but I don't know. And I know some of you guys are thinking, John, that's not a fair comparison, man. This juicer costs like 4 times, maybe 3.75 or 4 times more money than this juicer. Why are you comparing these two juicers? Because some of you guys have the option of buying a high-end juicer like the Solostar 4, which actually makes the most yield of any horizontal juicer that I've tested to date, and I'll explain why in a minute. Also, it saves the most power as well as some other things and has the longest warranty. Whereas this machine, you know, has a much shorter warranty, 5 times shorter warranty. But costs 4 times less. And there's a few other differences that we'll learn about this machine. And so, you know, here's the thing. Life is not fair, you know. Some of you guys, I mean, basically the old adage holds true. You guys get what you pay for. If you're buying something for less money, in most cases, not all cases, it's probably not as good quality and may not last you as long. So then, you know, even though this is less expensive, it has only a 3-year quality assurance, whatever that means. They make no mention of warranty in the advertising on Amazon, or actually that comes in the book, the paperwork with the machine, although in the advertising it says 3-year quality assurance. I don't know if you could take that as a warranty. I would specifically put warranty. Quality assurance, I mean, they're just going to give you phone support for 3 years. I have no idea. You could check the FAQ on Amazon for more information about that. I'm not exactly sure. But nonetheless, say it has a 3-year warranty. This has a 15-year warranty. After 3.5 years, maybe this one breaks. Maybe this one breaks after 2 years. Hopefully, you'll be able to get hold of the seller and they'll actually repair or replace it for you within the year, within the warranty period. But just because it has a warranty doesn't mean the company will be around. And that's the other thing I want to talk to you guys about, is that, you know, where are these companies located? Well, this company that sells on Amazon is located in China. Their address is literally listed in China. I've never been to China and I don't really know. So you could get a hold of them through their email support. Whereas TriBest, this company is established in the United States. They have their home base in Anaheim, California. They've been in business for over 30 years. So when they say we're giving you a 15-year warranty, and I've had a like 20-year track record with TriBest, I definitely believe them, because, you know, and I'm here to also make sure that my customers get warranty support for their machines, okay? So that's the first thing. You know, you pay a lower price, you might get a disposable juicer. I don't know how this one's going to last, but we will find out at least how it juices in this episode. In addition, I want to let you guys know where each of these machines are made. This one is made in China, and the Solostar 4 is actually made in South Korea. I've actually been to the factory that makes this very juicer, and it's actually a spotless, clean factory. I mean, it's cleaner than my house. And it's just a wonderful place. So I could say that they definitely have high quality standards in Korea. I visited the factory. I haven't visited the factory or even know where it is in China. That being said, I want you guys to realize that I would like to think, but I'm not really, too sure, that the working conditions in China and how much people are being paid is maybe not as good as people being paid in South Korea. That actually is more of a kind of democratic, what us Americans would think is democratic society, whereas China is, definitely not a democratic society from what I hear. Now, the other thing is I tend to trust Tribest on their claims that they make, and they advertise this straight up as BPA free. The AceZoe juicer is advertised as BPA free in the listing, although I'm a little bit concerned about that, and I'll talk to you more about that when I take the machine apart. You have really no assurance. People could write whatever they want in a little listing and an advertisement to sell you a product where they make the money and you get a product that may or may not perform and may or may not be exactly what they say. Now, should you have problems with the AceZoe, you need to contact them through email, and should you have problems with the Solostar 4, you could contact Tribest through email or call their phone number. In addition, if you buy the juicer from Discount Juicers, you could always contact me if Tribest is not taking care of you, and I will make sure that if you have a legitimate warranty claim, they will take care of your needs. So aside from that, both these juicers operate in the same way. You might think, oh, they're pretty similar, man. They got a feed chute, and then they got an auger, and then they got some parts that come out on the end. And yes, while they work similarly, they're very different. Much like cars, you could bet a Yugo. I don't know, do they make Yugos anymore? Those little compact cars from Yugoslavia. Or you could get a Mercedes, and both a Yugo, if they still make them, and a Mercedes will get you from point A to point B, but one will kind of like potentially be more reliable and more safe and all these things. And that's kind of how I see juicers, right? All these juicers will juice, some better, some worse, some will be more efficient, some will be less efficient. Some will last longer, some will be more durable. And at least in this video, I'm going to test the yield results. So both these are single horizontal auger juicers. These are the best style juicer if you want to juice mostly things like leafy greens. It can also juice carrots and fruits. I do not recommend this juicer if you want to juice straight fruits. While some fruits can juice fine in horizontal auger juicers, some fruits fail miserably. Pineapple with a soft, squishy texture is one of those things. So you want to make sure that you get hard, firm fruits. And for best results, always juice fruits with your vegetables. So for example, instead of making straight apple juice in a horizontal juicer, you'd want to make apple juice with carrot and put a piece of apple, piece of carrot, apple, carrot, and it's going to work fine. I'll put a link down below to a video I made on how to use a horizontal juicer if you want to juice fruits. That being said, if you're doing a mixed juice, doing a little bit of leafy greens, a little bit of root vegetables, other vegetables, and some fruits in there, and a pretty good, mix of 1/3 of each style, it's going to work great, all right? So don't be concerned. Next thing I want to go over is actually the innovative design on the AceZoe juicer. All right, so this is a standard horizontal. You got a feed chute. Maybe we'll just kind of go over both these and show the differences. These are the pushers on both machines. I like the pusher on the Solostar 4. It's just solid. This is actually hollow on the inside. But the curious thing is actually the AceZoe actually has a larger feed chute, because the pusher is a bit larger. So that's kind of cool, a little bit more convenient to use. Both these have removable funnels. If we take off the funnel on the AceZoe, which is actually kind of stuck on there pretty good, I like that it's tight fitting. This is it, and you can see the funnel on the Solostar 4. So actually on this respect, I'll have to give it to the AceZoe. The funnel is significantly larger. I mean, literally it fits in this guy, and the hole size is also bigger. Basically this hole will fit into this hole. So, yeah, larger feed chute. Next, coming apart, we're going to take off this end cap thing here. So this end cap thing here on the AceZoe is actually kind of interesting because it's actually kind of open on the end, which is interesting. They have a little silicone gasket that actually puts some back pressure on the produce. So actually this piece would actually be very easy to clean because it basically almost just goes straight through. And the cost of the straight through design may be some yield because it's not putting any back pressure on the produce as it's coming out. Meanwhile, on the Solostar 4, we turn this off, and I definitely think that Tri-Best needs to make this a bit easier to grip, to turn. This is actually two parts. So you have this is called the drum cap, and you also have an outlet adjusting knob here on the end that is somewhat adjustable. And this is kind of open, so if you look at these guys, they're both kind of open on the end. But this one has a little outlet adjusting knob, so if you put that on, you want to crank this down to full tightness. What this does, this makes the hole smaller, so as the pulp is coming out, it actually is squeezed through the hole. It puts a little bit of back pressure on the produce so that it'll wring it out more until it's dry, whereas this one doesn't really have any kind of apparatus like that. It does have like a little silicone flap thing that will likely keep some back pressure on it. So I'm curious to see how this works, especially with the lofty claims that the AceZoe makes. Next we have the juicing screen. This is where the machines are a lot different, and actually this is why I wanted to test the AceZoe, to check out new technology. I'm all for improvements in the juicers and always improving, and this is actually maybe an improvement, I'm not exactly sure. And this is the screen. So you guys could see when I first saw these screens, I'm like, whoa, how is this juicer juicing if there's only one screen? It's right as the initial crush. It's like normally known as a stage 1 screen. They just have a plastic screen here. Because this cone here pretty much looks solid, but then I look more closely at it, and how this works is there's little slits at the end of this cone here that actually are like holes. So instead of having holes, there's little slits, so the juice will actually get ground down and then come out the little slits. On stage 2 and on stage 1, it has the holes, and they claim, once again, a very high yield. So I really want to see, is this really a high yield? Maybe this will be my new favorite juicer, right? That being said, I'm putting it up against the Solostar 4. This juicer has the largest juicing screen of any horizontal slow juicer that I'm aware of at this time. There are significantly more holes and more opportunities for the produce to go through, also more places that the produce could clog into, and more scrubbing you're going to have to do at the end of the cleaning process. So this one definitely, hands down, will be way easier to clean. You could almost rinse this guy off because there's maybe these holes here. Stuff probably won't get clogged in this, but I don't really know. Whereas this one will take you some time to clean, but the reward will be higher yield. So that's why I want to test this, because they say this one makes a high yield. Well, let's see compared to the Solostar 4 that has the largest screen area. It goes on initial crush, and this could be thought of as a stage 1, because as it initially crushes, juice comes out. This happens a lot on things like oranges, not so much on carrots. And then the pulp is then run down the auger and crushed up and ground up more, and then juice comes out stage 2, which then drops out the bottom of the drum there. So those are two screens. All right, next we got coming out the augers. Here's the auger on the Solostar 4 juicer. Here's the auger on the AceZoe juicer. So you guys can clearly see these are big black augers. One auger is bigger than the other. You know what they say, bigger is better. Is bigger better? Ladies, you tell me. All right, so in juicers anyways, I like to think bigger is better, because what happens, how a juicer works, is you put the produce in here, and this auger is spinning, and as it's spinning, it's basically moving down the auger and getting crushed and ground up. The longer run on the auger, that means how longer it is, the more it's crushing, the more squeezing it's doing, and the more opportunity that the juice has to come out the holes. So this auger is shorter than this guy, not by much, but also too, there's a few different distinct areas of the two augers. This kind of has just basically one straight run, whereas this has like basically a straight run, and then it goes down to the secondary run where it's even like it's got more knurls and more knurls where it gets ground up even finer and to release more juice. Now the other thing I can't tell you is I can tell you for confidently the material that this is made out of. It's a hard material. This is known as the GE Ultimate material. It is 8 times harder than normal plastics. On this guy, I mean, they both look black. Let me see if I tap this. And let me tap this guy. Yeah, I mean, from tapping them and hearing the density of the different plastics, you guys hear that? Higher pitch. Alright, by just tapping these guys and hearing the density of the different plastics, I believe these are different, but I'm no plastics expert. I do know that the Tri-Best auger is made out of GE Ultim. This one may not be the Ultim material. Ultim material does cost more, so this may be some other kind of plastic that they are using that may not be as hard, which means it will not last as long. That being said, I don't know exactly for sure what they're using, but there's also a center shaft on both these machines, and I mean, for all practical purposes, this looks like a decent auger to me. Alright, next coming out, we got the main juicing body. So on this guy, there's actually, you just press this button to release it, and then you kind of turn it, and it comes off. And then on the Solostar 4, there's a little latch you turn, and it comes off. So this is a clear housing. This is a smoke housing, so if you line these up, they're actually pretty much the same diameter on this side. The back side, they both have a little, silicone gasket so that you don't get juice into the motor area. Actually, this one's kind of cool. It's actually kind of screwed in there, whereas actually this is kind of more pressed in place. So I don't know if they could replace this over time if you need to. That would be kind of cool. Normally, they just replace the whole part should that gasket wear out. The next thing is the feed chute size. So this is kind of silly. The AceZoe feed chute is larger because the feed chute on the Solostar 4 could literally fit inside the AceZoe. So the AceZoe will swallow the Solostar 4 to some extent, although the Solostar 4 kind of is flared, so it kind of is narrow at the top, then kind of flares out wider at the bottom. And honestly, I wish they would make this feed chute larger. Please try this, make it larger. And then let's see, other than that, where the juice comes out, there is a large area where the juice comes out. This also makes it a lot easier to clean because there's no nooks and crannies. You could easily get a sponge or a brush in here to clean this. Biggest hole to juice that juice could come out of on any horizontal juice that I've seen. Now the AceZoe, it has a lot smaller hole, so this is a lot more difficult to kind of clean. In addition, this may be an innovative feature or a wasted feature and more parts to clean and more things to break, is they have a little flap here. So this flap kind of covers up the hole. and the flap covers up the hole, so when you're done juicing, you could cover up the hole and then you prevent drips on your counter. But then you got this, another piece to clean, and there's another O-ring in here, and there's, I don't know, some extra parts to break. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of nice, but I don't know if it's worth all the extra parts. Kind of cool, though. Now, the other thing is, on the Solostar 4, this is a Eastman Triton copolymer, known as a BPA-free material. And if you tap this, you guys hear that? It's kind of like low pitch. Now, if we tap the one on the AceZoe, you hear that? Higher pitch, right? Now, I've done this test before, and in my opinion, the Eastman Triton material always has a lower pitch because it's like more kind of like, dense, I'd say. A little bit even flexible to some point. And whereas a higher pitch generally to me means it is polycarbonate or some other kind of material that I'm not familiar with, so I'm not exactly sure what they're using. I know a lot of juicers do use polycarbonate. Once again, polycarbonate does contain BPA, but this machine is advertised as BPA free, so I might be using some of the different kind of material. It is not disclosed. Sometimes I'll stamp on the part like PP for polypropylene or PC for polycarbonate, and this one is not stamped at all. The last Chinese juicer I had was stamped actually PC. So once again, we don't know. So, and then the other thing I want to talk about is the motor. So this motor is actually nice. It has actually a handle on it. It's actually nice and heavy, actually. I weighed this guy before the video, and it's actually 10.5 pounds, right? In addition, this has a removable cord, so it has a standard IEC cord. It's the same cord that goes in your computer, so that's really nice. So you could like easily replace it. In addition, it also has a built-in fuse, user replaceable, that you could replace should you overload the machine. In addition, if we turn this over on the bottom, this is a MET, electric certified. In addition, this is a 135 watt motor. So this is takes less wattage, and it's also a very beefy unit. I mean, this thing is 10.5 pounds right there. And you guys know that, what motors are made out of. They're made out of copper windings. So the more copper windings in general, the more powerful it is. So the Solostar 4 is designed to save electricity because it uses 10% less electricity than other juicers that use 150 watts. But at the same time, it also, due to gear reduction, has more torque. It has the equivalent torque of a 5.4 horsepower motor. And let me remind you guys, torque is what is really needed when you're putting in thick carrots or pieces of beets. You know, they're nice thick, and the torque needs to basically snap off the carrot or beet or what have you. So torque is really important. Let's go over to the AceZoe now. The AceZoe, a lot lighter. There are no carry handles on this, so it's a bit, you know, more difficult to pick up. Maybe pick it up from the bottom. There's four basically suction cup feet. The bottom, this has a ETL CE made in China, 150 watts. And the interesting thing about this is this one is only 5 pounds when I weighed this out. So it's 5 pounds, so it's literally half the weight of the Solostar 4. So, you know, I think definitely in motors, you know, it's at least 5.5 pounds less heavy. And that's a lot of motor that you're not getting literally, okay? In addition, this is kind of has a new innovative design with like a kind of a, you know, cylinder here and a little ledge here. I personally found that I'm not a big fan of the ledges because the ledges force you to use the collection bins that the machine comes with. And if you try to use a bigger one, it might not sit on this little ledge properly and tip off, which actually had happened when I was using actually the Huron model that has a similar design such as this. I prefer the models that are like this that have an open bottom so you could use any collection cup you would like. Both these units come with plastic collection cups. Alright, so next I want to go ahead and assemble each unit. The AceZoe, you're going to go ahead and take the main drum. You're just going to go ahead and slide it in and then rotate it. It'll clip in place. You're going to then take the auger, push the auger all the way back in there. Fully seated back, you're going to take the juicing screen, make sure the bottom of the juicing screen goes in the bottom, and push that all the way back. Then we're going to go ahead and take this drum cap, put this on, and make sure that's screwed in all the way. And we're going to take the funnel, push the funnel on nice and tight, and we got the pusher finally. Next, on the Solostar 4, we could take the drum and put it on and then turn the little collar to close. This collar works a lot more easily than like the Omega collars. Then we're going to go ahead and take the auger, put the auger right back in there. And also I want you guys to be aware when you push in the auger on both machines, they don't go all the way to the back. There will be a gap between the auger and this drum part. So don't be concerned that it doesn't go all the way back and is not fitting flush. This is how it is designed. Next, we're going to go ahead and take the juicing screen. You want to pay attention on the juicing screen. It says upper. Upper is facing up, and you want to put that part that says upper and put it all the way back in there. Finally, we're going to make sure that outlet adjusting knob is fully cranked down, and we're going to take the drum cap, put it on. Now, make sure when you put this drum cap on, right, you don't just put it on and turn it like a little bit. It will lock into place at that point. You want to make sure it's fully cranked in all the way and get a good grip on it. I have had some customers recently that may not be putting it on all the way, then during juicing it'll actually pop off. So you want to make sure you put it on and turn it full stop. And actually, if you want to know for sure, there's a little thing that says close with a little arrow, and there's a little line on here that you need to line up the line with the close to make sure it's fully tightened so you don't have any issues. Finally, we got the funnel we could put on there, and then the pusher goes in the machine. Now, you know, I also want to tell you guys about the multi-function features that these juicers can do. So the AceZoe is only set up to juice. You cannot do other features with it. Meanwhile, on the Solostar 4, it is designed to make things like mochi, which is a Japanese rice cake, or nut butters, or frozen fruit sorbets. You can even extrude pastas with this machine if you would like, right? You could grind and mince up garlic and even coffee, and you know, do things like that. So this can be used as a homogenizer where it actually crushes and grinds up things. It will not turn like wheat berries into flour. If you try to put wheat berries through there a little bit at a time, it'll basically crack them but not crush them. If you try to put flax seeds in there, flax seeds are so small it might just kind of break some of them open, but some of them might come out whole. You know, but of course, you know, roasted peanuts could go in and you get peanut butter on the way out. So this machine has a lot more functionality than this machine that is just simply a juicer. Next, I want to go ahead and do a sound check for you guys on both machines, and let you guys know the Solostar 4 is the slowest running horizontal juicer that we sell at Discount Juicers. This runs at 57 RPMs, and this is what it sounds like. So to me, that motor sounds nice and beefy and strong and powerful. It's like and that's how that sounds. And now on the AceZoe, this was interesting because when I used it the first time, it doesn't turn on instantly when you press the button. It takes a minute to start up. And let's go ahead and click this on. You have to hold down the button and then it comes on. This one runs a lot faster. It runs at 85 RPMs, so it's approximately like 30 RPMs more. And so this is really humming along. Plus it's also a higher pitch. Does not quite sound as strong. It's more higher pitch to me. But also that's also because it's faster. So anyways, let's go ahead and turn this guy off now. And the next thing I want to do is we're going to go ahead and do a juice off and juice even amounts of produce in both machines to see which juicer will reign supreme in the yield test. Will this really make up to 95% as it claims in their Amazon ad? I don't know, but we will be finding out right now. Alright, so now we're all ready and set up to juice, and we got even amounts of baby colored carrots, jicama, red bell pepper, beet, apple, and cucumber. So let's go ahead and do a weigh-in to make sure we have a fair fight. All right, let's go ahead and do a weigh-in over on the AceZoe juicer side. Looks like we got 1690 grams. There's all the produce. And over on the Solostar 4 side, looks like we also have 1690 grams. Let's go ahead and get both scales on the picture at the same time. You can clearly see it's 1690 on both scales. So let's get juicing. Alright, so now that we got the weigh-in done, let's go ahead and move the scales out of the way, move the produce off the scales. Normally I would do like a time comparison on how long it will take to juice in both juicers, but because they are similar style juicers running at a very similar RPM, it should take pretty much the same amount of time to juice unless, you know, one juicer gets backed up, you know, or the other one maybe runs a little bit slower, but I can't see the time being that much different, so I'm not going to be doing a time comparison today. What I will be doing though is having to cut up some of the produce items. You know, like the big half piece of jicama here is rather large. It will definitely not fit in the Solostar feed chute, so I'll have to cut that up. Likewise, you know, these apples are not fitting whole into the AceZoe feed chute either, so I will need to pre-cut those. So I guess I can be a bit more relaxed since I'm not doing a time thing, and I'm going to explain the process to you guys. So it's very important, you know, is to pre-cut your produce before you juice it so that it will fit in the feed chute. In the case of these apples, I'm going to maybe cut like a tic-tac-toe pattern down the top, and so I could have it in smaller pieces so that it will fit. Many times I like to actually pre-cut the produce before I put it in the machine. Likewise, you know, the jicama, we're just going to go ahead and cut this into slices or little pieces so that it will fit. Maybe these center slices I will then go ahead and cut in half additionally. On the bell peppers, they definitely won't fit, but they're hollow on the inside, although when you juice bell peppers, you can juice the seeds and all. There's good nutrition in there as well as all the different white pith part inside. So we're just going to also, once again, cut these up into little pieces. The cucumber, probably just cut it lengthwise into quarters, into 4 pieces so it will fit. The beet, also, you know, once again, we're just going to go ahead and cut this up into slices so it fits in the juicer as well. Now, you don't have to dice up things super small. As long as it fits in the feed chute, you'll be good to go on both these machines. Alright, and all the carrots are all ready to go since they're the baby carrots pre-washed and everything. So I guess the first step is turn this machine on. And the most important thing when juicing is to have the proper ordering. So you always want to go from the softest to the firmest produce item. So I would say maybe like the bell pepper is the softest, so we're going to go ahead and stick one of those in there. Then we're going to go ahead and maybe stick in a piece of apple. I juiced the seeds and all. Then we're going to go ahead and put in a piece of the cucumber. After that, we're going to go ahead and put in a piece of the jicama. We're going to go ahead and put in a piece of the beet. And then we're going to drop in a few carrots. In some cases, you can just let the machine run, and the machine will basically chop off, you know, a piece of the carrot. In some cases, it won't, so you will need to put a little bit of pressure on it, but not like cram it in there. You know, this machine can have issues with breakage if you put too much pressure on the juicing parts. So don't try to cram it in there as fast as you can. That being said, I do like how this pusher goes all the way down to the auger, so you get every last bit. Whereas if we look on the AceZoe, you know, there's at least a good 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch gap that the auger does not, or the pusher does not go into the auger, so there'll always be some leftover produce down there when you're done juicing. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to go ahead and follow my same procedure of putting, you know, a soft item, a couple soft items and a hard item in, and we're going to come back at you when I'm done juicing. We'll speed this up so you guys can see the entire process. Alright, so I want to stop right there because we have juiced a lot, and this collection cup is on the verge of overflowing, so I want to make sure I don't lose any juice. So we're going to go ahead and turn this machine off. What we will be doing today is we'll be using a sieve to strain out any kind of pulp, so you can see how much pulp each juicer puts in. It's my guesstimate that this machine will put in a lot more just due to the design, and they have actually a larger pathway where juice can come out of the machine, but that also may be the reason why the higher yield. So whenever we remove this, I'd like to tip the juicer backwards and then forwards a little bit. Some juice will come out because this doesn't have that handy dandy flap. As soon as I pull this out, I move this guy right underneath it so we don't get drips on the counter. Not a big deal. And then we're going to go ahead and carefully pour this into our sieve to get out the juice. Alright, definitely some pulp at the end of the pour. Let's go ahead and replace the collection cup and push down our pulp catch bin, and let's continue to juice. Alright, we're almost done juicing in the Solostar 4. We've made a lot of juice here. And we're going to go ahead and put in the last few carrots. And I have one piece of jicama left. So I think I'll put the jicama in last. Sometimes the last thing you put in the juicer will end up not getting crushed down all the way. But to me, jicama is like one of the super cheapest root vegetables you can juice. Adds a nice mellow flavor and actually beneficial fiber for your probiotics and your gut microbiome. In addition, it also can help increase nitric oxide levels in your blood according to science. Alright, so we put that last item in. Now here's a tip. You want to turn off the machine and then you want to press it in reverse for a second. It'll basically reverse back up so you can see the jicama that didn't get juiced. It's going backwards in the auger. Then we're going to go ahead and turn it forwards and see if then we can get it to release, grind up a little bit better, and then kind of kick out. Now the most important step when using a slow juicer is it's not done instantly, so you want to let the machine run a little bit longer. As long as pulp is still coming out of the little end cap here and it's moving and juice is dripping out, that means the juicer is still working and you get more yield by letting it run a little bit longer. When pulp stops flowing out the pulp outlet here, you want to go ahead and turn off the machine. Once again, I like to tip the machine forwards a little bit and then backwards a little bit and see if we got any additional drips. Once again, pull this guy out, put that underneath so we don't get drips on the counter. And let's go ahead and shake down this pulp that we had from the previous section. Pour in the rest of this juice through the sieve. Alright, that's all the juice. Definitely made over 4 cups of juice. And that's pretty much it on the Solostar 4. We're going to let that sit. Meanwhile, we're going to go head over to the AceZoe side, and we're going to start to juice in the AceZoe. Alright, let's get our additional catch cup to get the AceZoe juice, because it probably will make a high yield and not go in this collection cup. We are all reset. And this time I won't explain necessarily how to pre-cut everything. I'll just kind of maybe speed this part of the video up, and we'll come back at you when I got all the produce pre-prepped, and we're gonna get into the juicing. Alright, so we got all the produce pre-cut. Now I will have to say that I do like how this has a larger feed chute, so I didn't have to cut things as small as a Solostar 4 juicer. This probably has the smallest size feed chute of the different horizontal juicers out there. There's other juicers that also have the same feed size, which is the standard size. It's about 1.5 inches, and if I estimated this is maybe 1.75 inches diameter. So next, let's go ahead and get juicing in the AceZoe. Move this to the side so you guys can see what I'm doing. Once again, we're going to turn this machine on. We're going to hold down this button for a second. It'll start up. Nice high-pitched motor. We're going to go ahead and start out by putting a piece of bell pepper in there. Kind of sucks in. I like that. Maybe I won't have to use the pusher as much because of the wider feed chute. And drop in a couple carrots. Oh, yeah, they're just sitting and spinning mostly. So I will have to use the pusher to some extent, put a little bit of downward force on it to get it to go out. My collection cup is a bit large, so the pulp is maybe hopefully going to flow out properly. So I'm just going to go ahead and speed this up. I'll stop it if there's anything uneventful. If this is not uneventful. Otherwise, we're just going to go ahead and let this, we're going to juice all this stuff up and come back at you when I'm done. Alright, so I pretty much want to stop right there for you guys. This is going quite well. It kind of seems like you put the produce in, it just shoots through here and it comes out really fast. I'm kind of wondering what kind of job it'll do. That being said, it already did fill up the collection cup to a fair bit. So let's go ahead and take and pour this juice through the sieve. Cool thing on this, we got that little spout thing, so we can close that spout thing. So hopefully we don't get any drips. This is not the included collection cups that come with it. This is glass collection cup that actually is from Tribest, from a Green Star juicer. So it's a little bit rough fit underneath here. It doesn't fit exactly right. I gotta angle this a little bit to get it out. It comes with smaller plastic catch cups, as does the Solostar 4. So let's go ahead and pour this juice out. Definitely seeing maybe even more pulp in here, but we will know when we weigh out the pulp at the end for sure. To me, this juice does not quite look as dark despite being the same exact ingredients, which means maybe the juicer's not grinding up things as well. I'm not exactly sure at this point. So that's the juice we got. Let's go ahead and put this back in there. Open this little spout cap. Whoa, and it poured some out, so that's really nice. And let's go ahead and continue juice. Alright, we're almost done juicing the AceZoe juicer. Just a few final pieces to juice. We got a pepper going in, and then we actually have 2 pieces of jicama going right in as well. I mean, this is just pretty much worked pretty good. I'll be talking about the pulp and how I think the pulp came out. It definitely made, I think, more pulp than the Solostar 4. And let's see, we're going to go ahead and hit stop, and then we're going to go ahead and once again hit that reverse thing. Hold down the reverse, get it to run in reverse. Some of that produce will come backwards, then we're going to go ahead and hit it forwards. See if we get that to kind of run through the machine a little more effectively, so we get maybe a little bit more yield. And I think we're pretty much good. So once again, I like to maybe tip this guy forwards a little bit, and tip it backwards a little bit. Get any juice drips, and then we could go ahead and close this spout, and then we could go ahead and carefully pull out our juice. And then now we're going to go ahead and pour this through the sieve to see how much juice the AceZoe made. Alright, so we poured all that juice out. Let's go ahead and move that to the side. Maybe we could put it back where it was. And let's go ahead and clear off this table and pull these juices up close and center for you guys to show you guys actually how much yield each of these juicers made. Alright, let's go ahead and give you guys a close-up on the yields and the pulp over on the AceZoe juicer side. A little bit hard to see today, but if you guys get a close-up right there, you guys can see we're basically at 800, maybe 25 is what I'm going to guesstimate milliliters on the juice. I also want you guys to notice the color of the juice. To me, it looks a tad bit lighter. In addition, the foam layer, you know, kind of looks more like a foam layer, like a whitish color. Not a lot of foam, of course. Now, over on the Solostar 4 side, if we look very carefully, a little bit harder to see once again, 100 milliliters plus maybe another, I don't know, maybe 50, maybe 1,050 milliliters is my best guess on that right there, because it's, I don't know, maybe 1040, I don't know, 1040, 1050. So it made significantly more juice. The other thing is the foam layer, to me, looks a little bit more like pinkish, like dark, so I'm not exactly sure what that is about. In addition, to me, it looks like the juice is like a tad bit darker, not like significantly darker, but a tad bit darker. But I'll know more when I taste the juices, if I get any differences between them. But you could clearly see, I mean, look at the difference between those two yields. I mean, the AceZoe did work, but it made like a little bit over 200 milliliters less juice. Alright, so you guys just saw that actually the Solostar 4 juicer made more juice. I estimate it to be about 21% more juice than the AceZoe. And here's the thing, you know, I know you guys are paying more money for this juicer. You also get a 5 times longer warranty. In addition, a US-based customer service where they can send you parts under warranty if required, because they have a full warehouse where they stock parts that I've seen and been to. Not sure if AceZoe owns their own warehouses or will just send you a new replacement machine. That's what many sellers that sell some of these Chinese juicers do. They don't stock every individual component. They'll just send you a whole new juicer if your juicer fails, because they don't stock individual parts. It would cost them more money to do so. You know. That being said, let's take a look at the pulp that was created in each machine. This is the pulp from the AceZoe, and this is the pulp from the Solostar 4. They both produce some pulp. And actually looks about fairly even amount, so let's go ahead and weigh it out and find out which one made more pulp. So over on the AceZoe, we're going to go ahead and weigh that pulp out first. Nice pulp patty of 26 grams. We're going to go ahead and carefully drop that back in there. Next, let's go ahead and weigh out the Solostar 4 pulp. And actually, this is 25 grams. So actually, despite the new design, it was fairly efficient at not putting a lot of pulp in the juice. So I actually am impressed. It didn't really put that much more than the Solostar 4. Now, that being said, the pulp is definitely different in the AceZoe. When I saw the pulp coming out, I even see like a whole seed of a pepper that came out. So I want to go ahead and try this pulp. Wow. So this pulp is really, to me, it's a really coarse pulp. So if you didn't filter it out, there'd be like more grit. Like for sure, like a lot of large particle grit. Over on the Solostar 4, let's go ahead and taste some of this pulp here. Wow. Man, this is a fine consistency. I won't say it melts in my mouth because it is still some of the insoluble fiber. Once again, the juices keep the soluble fiber. In carrots, for example, it's about half and half soluble to insoluble, but this is very fine fiber. To me, it's not objectionable at all. So if you want to stir this in, you would probably barely notice it's there because it is so small particle size. Whereas the fiber from the AceZoe, man, it's almost like big chunks. Oh, I did catch something, a big chunk. Maybe it's the seed. Yeah, it's that pepper seed right there. Went through the juicer, man. Didn't even get juiced. Alright. So that's the differences in pulp. Next, I think I'll go ahead and do a taste test of the juices. If I hold these juices up to the light, I mean, to me, the Solostar 4 juice looks a tad bit darker. This is really apparent when I was juicing. I was seeing the juice come out. I don't know if that's because, like, potentially, this did a good job at grinding to some extent and then kicking it out, but it didn't really grind too finely, as evidenced by the pulp that was, you know, caught in the sieve, right? if you just press something out without fully grinding it and pressing it, you are not releasing those valuable phytochemicals and phytonutrients such as the anthocyanins in the purple carrots that I juiced today, or the beta-cyanins in the beets, right? So you're going to make a less nutritious juice. So first, let's go ahead and try the juice from the AceZoe juicer, just a little bit there. Cold pressed juice. I mean, it tastes good. It tastes a bit watery. I'm not sure if this side will taste watery as well. I mean, it tastes pretty watery to me. All right. Next, let's go ahead and try the Solostar 4 juice. Pour a little bit out. Let's go ahead and taste test this juice. Wow. So I also am getting watery because this is a nice, more watery texture because of the bell pepper and the jicama and the cucumber and the apple. Carrots are pretty mild too. But even though this is more watery, I taste some more flavor dimension. So you guys that are super tasters will easily be able to differentiate this better than I. But even my untrained mouth, I could taste the difference. Like this tastes a little bit, not a lot, a little bit stronger. I'm tasting more of the flavors. And once again, the flavors correspond with nutrients in the juice. Let's go ahead and try this one again. Yeah, I mean, it's so minute. The differences are so small. Most people would probably not even know. That being said, both these slow juicers make a juice that tastes better than the high-speed juicers that oxidize more of these valuable phytochemicals, in my personal opinion. So the next thing I want to talk about is the pulp here, right? There is a massive difference in pulp, actually. This is the pulp from the Solostar 4. It's actually a smaller catch cup than the pulp from the AceZoe, which is a lot larger catch cup, although they both filled it up and they both, are pressed down to some extent. So, that's where the difference went. 20% more is still wet in the pulp. The other thing, as I'm looking at the pulp, it is quite evident to me that, there are pieces of pulp that are fairly large. So, here's a piece of this looks like the pepper, that came out like a really big chunk that obviously grinded it and squeezed it, but it didn't really, maybe it pressed it and squeezed it. It didn't really grind it up well. If we go over to this side, this pulp is indistinguishable. It's pretty much like a sawdust texture. It's really a fine texture. The juicer did a much better job at grinding up, breaking open cell walls, and releasing those valuable phytonutrients into your juice, right? I'm not seeing any large bits. The way this works is that it grinds up like better than any other horizontal juicer. That's why I use it today. And then it puts back pressure on it so that it doesn't come out and fly out instantly. Whereas if you looked on this machine, basically I put something in and all of a sudden it would get squeezed, but not really ground, right? That's the difference, I think. And then it would come out, and that's why it made less juice. It definitely squeezed out a good percentage of the water, and it actually is quite efficient, actually, for an inexpensive juicer. But what are you losing, right? If you are like me, I got into juicing for my health, almost lost my life. I needed to turn my health around. Knowing what I know now of studying for 26 years about why fruits and vegetables and juicing them are so beneficial, it's all about those phytonutrients that are in the plant foods that we want to extract in the best way possible. At low speed, that's great, but the better grind, the more you could break open cell walls at a slow speed, the more nutrition you will get, right? So, this is what I will say after this video to sum it up, right? You could see the difference in the juices. You could see how much more pulp was created in each side. The difference in the price and the warranty. This machine has a 2 times heavier motor, 15-year warranty. This machine has like a half the weight of the motor and only a 3-year quality assurance, whatever that means. All right? The company is located in China. This machine is made in China. This machine is made in South Korea. The company is located in Anaheim, California. You could drive there if they're not closed due to COVID, or call them up. And this machine, of course, made 20% more juice. So, in my consciousness, can I say that AceZoe actually won this juice off? What it has going for it is the price. I will not deny that. It is actually a really good price, especially right now. If you guys are seeing this, they have an additional $20 off coupon you could use to buy this, and it's like they're almost giving it away. I don't even know how they're making any money. Maybe they're just doing it to get it out there to get more good reviews so they'd sell more in the future. But it's incredibly inexpensive. If you're looking for an inexpensive juicer, would I recommend this one or another one? I would probably have to say I'd go with another one because I really don't like how this doesn't grind up and extract out some of the different phytonutrients. You know, some of these new style Chinese machines just kick out the pulp really fast and kind of do a good job of getting the liquid out, but not the grinding aspects. And that's where the higher priced machines from Korea really excel and shine. I mean, the Koreans they're smart people in my opinion, and they've designed it well so it grinds. I mean, that's why I use the Solostar 4, because it grinds up the best and gets the most amount of yield and phytonutrients, in my opinion, from any horizontal auger juicer I've tested to date. So despite the cost that this machine does cost more, it also has a 5 times longer warranty, twice as much motor, and it'll save you 10% on your power bill because it uses less watts. Very important if you're running on solar panels. You know, I'm going to say buy it right the first time. Save up your money, right? Save up your money and get a good machine the first time. And in this test, I'm going to have to declare the winner, the Solostar 4. Primarily for the 20% more yield, but also more importantly for the phytonutrients in the juice that are probably one of the most important elements that probably most people never talk to you guys about. But I'm deep into the science on how phytonutrients can make a big difference in your life, in your weight loss program, in your health. And if you're just getting simply the water from the produce, that's great, but I want you guys to take it up the notch to the next level. If you guys enjoy this episode, like my comparison videos that I do for you guys, I would encourage you guys to support me and my work by making your purchase at discountjuicers.com. I'll put a link to the Solostar 4 right below this video, as well as the AceZoe juicer in this video. First comment also in the description, so you can purchase either of these guys. You know, maybe some of you guys can't afford this and you're just going to go with this. John said it's decent. Will I say it's decent? Yeah, I mean, I'm saying this is a decent machine for the price, but I hope it is not a disposable juicer. I hate to see things from China end up in U.S. landfills and create more junk and waste, because when we throw it away, it really doesn't go away. It goes somewhere, and it basically pollutes the groundwater, creates methane gas, and all these other things. Buy something right the first time and keep it for the rest of your life. It'll be supported by Tribest. It'll save energy. That's all I'm going to say, all right? If you guys enjoyed this episode comparing these two juicers, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Also, please be sure to share this video with somebody else so that they can learn the truth about the different juicers on the market and how they work from a juicing expert. Also, be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes are a wealth of knowledge, over 600 episodes at this time on this very YouTube channel dedicated to comparing and contrasting all different major brand juicers, even vacuum blenders and other appliances that allow you to eat more fresh fruits and vegetables because they are the best foods on the planet. So, with that, my name is John Kohler with discountjuicers.com. Be sure to visit discountjuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for YouTube visitors.